A single father named Arjun lived in the quiet town of Gulmohar Ridge, a place where people knew one another by name, where the mornings smelled of freshly baked bread and the evenings echoed with children playing cricket on dusty roads. Arjun, despite being young, had already seen more storms than most people twice his age. After losing his wife in a tragic accident, he dedicated his entire world to raising his 7-year-old daughter, Tara. He cooked, cleaned, worked double shifts as a carpenter, and still made time to help Tara with her homework, braid her hair every morning, and read her bedtime stories every night. Lekin life, as always, had its own plans, unexpected, unpredictable, and full of hidden twists. One chilly morning, as he was fixing the loose hinges of his old wooden gate, he noticed something unusual. The tall fence between his house and his neighbor Mira's property had cracked during last night's storm. The wooden panels leaned dangerously, almost as if one more gust of wind would bring them crashing down. Arjun felt responsible. After all, his old mango tree leaned toward that side, and maybe a falling branch had caused some damage. So without a second thought, he picked up his toolbox, rolled up his sleeves, and walked toward the broken fence. He hadn't spoken much to Mira. She had moved to Gulmohar Ridge only 6 months ago. She was a quiet woman, elegant in an effortless way, with a calm voice and an air of mystery, as if she carried 100 untold stories behind her eyes. People whispered about her. Some said she was a business tycoon, some said she was a widow, others claimed she had no family at all. Arjun never paid attention to gossip. He had enough of his own life to handle. As he bent down to examine the base of the fence, he heard footsteps crunching on the gravel. When he looked up, he saw Mira standing there in a simple pastel kurta, holding a cup of coffee. "You're repairing the fence?" she asked, sounding genuinely surprised. "Han, I noticed it broke in the storm," Arjun replied, brushing sawdust off his hands. "Main ways be carpenter hoon. So I thought I should fix it before it gets worse." Mira tilted her head slightly, watching him work with focused precision. "You don't have to," she said softly. "It's not your responsibility." "Maybe not," Arjun smiled faintly, "but Tara plays here. A broken fence can be dangerous." Something flickered in Mira's eyes, something warm, something almost tender. "You're a good father," she murmured, more to herself than to him. He ignored the compliment but continued working. Hours passed. The sun climbed high. Sweat rolled down his arms. His hands moved with practiced skill, measuring, sawing, fitting, and hammering new panels. Mira occasionally offered him water or tea, which he politely accepted but never stopped working. By late afternoon the fence looked brand new, strong, polished, and perfectly aligned. Arjun stepped back to admire the finished work, only then realizing how exhausted he was. "It's beautiful," Mira said, standing beside him. "You've done more than just repair a fence." "Just doing what needed to be done," he replied simply. "If anything else breaks, let me know. I don't mind helping." She gave him a long look, the kind that made him slightly uncomfortable, like she could see straight into the tired corners of his soul. "Arjun," she began hesitantly, "there's something you should know." He frowned. "Kya wa?" Mira inhaled deeply, as if preparing to reveal something enormous. "You think I'm just your neighbor. But I actually own half the town." Arjun blinked, stunned. "What? Half the town?" "Yes," she said, her voice steady now. "The land, the stores, the Market Street properties, almost everything was inherited by me from my grandparents. I kept it quiet because I didn't want people treating me differently." Arjun stared at her, still processing the information. "Lekin, why are you telling me this?" She smiled softly. "Because no one has ever helped me without expecting something in return. You repaired the fence not knowing anything about who I am. You didn't ask for favors, money, connections, nothing. I respect that, and I want to help you in return." Arjun shook his head. "Mira, I didn't do this expecting." "I know," she interrupted gently. "That's exactly why I want to." Before he could protest, she continued, "I've seen how hard you work, how you raise Tara alone. You deserve support, stability, peace. I've been thinking of opening a new community workshop in town. If you agree, I want to put you in charge of it." Arjun's heart raced. A steady job, better pay, and no more juggling 2 shifts, it would change everything. "Mira, this is too much," he whispered. You don't even know me. Maybe not yet, she replied, her eyes warm. But I know sincerity when I see it. For the first time in years, Arjun felt something he had almost forgotten: hope. The fence he had repaired was no longer just wood and nails. It had become a bridge between two lives, two stories, two broken hearts quietly learning to trust again. Tara came running from the house, laughing as she hugged her father's leg. Mira smiled at the little girl, her eyes softening even more. The workshop starts next month, she said. Take your time to think. I'll be here. That evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills and painted the sky in shades of orange and gold, Arjun looked at the freshly repaired fence and realized something unexpectedly beautiful. Sometimes, while fixing what is broken outside, life begins fixing what's broken inside. And without even knowing it, he had opened a doorway to a future he never imagined. A future where kindness led to possibilities, where ordinary days became extraordinary, where a simple act of repair changed not just a fence, but an entire life.